Uh, okay, let's get started.
Let's get started.
This is GeonU Kim, and I'm a master student in American Postdoc. Today I'm going to introduce a paper called DiffusionLight, which will be proceeding in CPR 2024. The content of my presentation is, you can see here. I'm going to start with a preliminary about environment map and combo and latent diffusion model and neural. This is the inference process of DiffusionLight. As you can see, they first predict a number from a single image, and then they finally generate an HDR environment map from this crumble. I'm going to introduce you how this process can be possible and why getting this HDR environment map is really important for computer graphics. 3D environment map is really highly related to 3D rendering. When we try to render a 3D object, we should know about lighting condition. This lighting condition is really important because even though we have some same object, its appearance can be really different depends on the different lighting. And HDR environment map is a kind of representation of the lighting using this HDR image. When we use this HDR environment map as a lighting condition for this 3D rendering, we can render the 3D objects surrounded by this HDR input image. We usually use HDR image for this environment map for more photorealistic rendering results. And we can wonder that how can we get this HDR environment map from real world? There are some different methods to get environment map from real world. For example, we can directly acquire a panorama image using camera. We can use 360-degree camera for capturing the surrounding scene. And there is another method to using crumble. As you can see in this image, we can capture this crumble to get environment map from 3D scene. To capture the crumble, we first should set up a crumble in the scene where we want to know about the environment map. And we can capture the crumble like this with different exposure values. The reason why we should capture these different exposures is to make the HDR image from these multiple edge crumbles. With these multiple crumbles, we can make HDR crumble using HDR merging method. You can use anything conventional method to merge these LDR images using computer software like Photoshop or something like that. And using the obtained HDR combo, we can make an HDR environment map using a method called stereographic projection. I'll skip the detail of this method, but it would be easy to think like when we think about the rectangular world map, we can make rectangular world map from Earth, even though Earth is shaped like sphere. The same algorithm is used to making this HDR environment map in both process. So now we can know how to make this crumble to HDR environment map, and it's clear to know that the goal of this DiffusionLight is making this HDR environment map. And how can we use this HDR environment map? We can use this map to something computer graphics applications, like when we try to insert an object into the scene, when we just naively input the object to the scene, the result will be really unnatural like this. To make more natural image, we should do a process called relighting. Relighting is a process that we render this object using the lighting condition of the scene. As you can see here, we can make more natural image using this relighting process. And we can do relighting even only we know about this HDR environment in the scene. And before delving into the main contents of this method, I'll briefly introduce you about latent diffusion model and LoRa. Latent diffusion model is a kind of diffusion model, but they perform the diffusion process and denoising process in the latent space, different from original diffusion model. And they also get some conditions in the latent space to make images. The representative latent diffusion model is stable diffusion. Stable diffusion is trained on really huge amount of data set that can, so that the stable diffusion has really strong image prior to generate images in particular domains. And this strong image prior can be leveraged to other regression tests like this. This is a kind of trend to using this LDM to other tests by fine-tuning the latent diffusion model. As you can see here, we can predict the depth from RGB image, and we can also predict A-model completion from RGB image. The advantage of using this latent diffusion model is zero-shot performance. By using this diffusion prior, they can do this test on the unseen data set easily. And this is LoRa a method to fine-tuning the LDM latent diffusion model. When we try to fine-tune the large model, we should update the weights like this using gradient descent. But when we try to fine-tune the large model, the number of parameters is really high. So LoRa proposed a low-rank approximation method for fine-tuning like this. They replaced this weight updating using matrix participation of much smaller number of smaller parameters of weight matrix. As we can see here, when we set the R was smaller than this D or K, we can fine-tune the large model with extremely less parameters compared to the regular fine-tuning that updates all the weights using this huge matrix. So now I can explain about this model. This is the overview of DiffusionLight. Aforementioned, the goal of DiffusionLight is predict this HDR environment map from single image. And they use this latent diffusion model prior for zero-shot performance. And to fine-tune this model, they use synthetic pairs dataset, which consists of image and crumble. If you have any question, raise your hand or leave a comment online, please. And so when we think about the live way to use this latent diffusion model to insert a crumble inside of the image, we can think about this in-painting process. We can use the basic stable diffusion model in painting mask to in-paint a crumble inside of the image. However, there are problems like this. when we use just live stereo diffusion, we can only generate low dynamic range image. This is natural because stereo diffusion is trained on the dataset consists of low dynamic range images. And there is also another problem caused by stochasticity of diffusion process. As you know, when we perform denoising process of diffusion model, we should start with the initial random noise. And these results are highly depends on the random noise. And you can see that the results are really inconsistency like this. And also some of them has really bad patterns. It cannot be used for environment lab. So the goal of this paper is solve these problems using some techniques. They want to generate high dynamic range image, and they want to generate robust crumbles against the stochasticity of diffusion model. So their main contributions are like this. The first one is dataset contribution to make HDR environment map using latent diffusion model. And the second one is baseline conditioning for more reliable generation of crumble. And the third one is iterative painting for reducing the stochasticity of diffusion model. Let's see the details of the first one about the training dataset. This is a protocol of generating training dataset. They have some HDR environment map as ground truth. And then they crop the region of the HDR map and make an image which can be used as an input image of the model. And they render crumbles with various exposure values, which is called EV, on this image like this. The reason why they generate these crumbles of vertical exposure is that to give the model to make allows the model to generate these multiple crumbles of different exposures. And they try to make these different crumbles of different exposures using these embeddings. They simply add this black dark trace to these prompts like this. And they try to let the model to generate this default crumble using default prompt and this black dark crumble using this black dark embedding. To do that, they try to pair these embeddings and these synthetic crumble images. They first pair the default embedding with the default crumble, and they pair this black dark embedding with the crumble with lowest exposure. And to make a pair with these intermediate crumbles, they interpolate their text embeddings like this using this equation. They first subtract the original embedding from this black dark embedding, and they multiply a weight and add it to the final image. With this interpolation, we can make vertical embeddings can be paired to these vertical crumbles with different exposures. And with this paired embedding and crumbles, they can fine tune their latent diffusion like this. In this process, they used ASCII loss, which should only calculate the loss in the region of crumble. With this pair training, their model can generate the different combos of different exposure depends on these embeddings. With this training, it can generate combos using image and text-based conditions. And they also give another condition, which is estimate to the model for more reliable generation of combo. This is the process to make estimate as condition. They first extract the basic estimate using off-the-shelf test predictor using input image. And they put the input mask on this estimate. And they generate this estimate for condition. And this white circle means that the object in this region should be closest to the camera. And this estimate make a constraint to the model that the combo should be an object being closest to the camera. And they use this control net to give condition to the latent diffusion model. This control net is just nothing but encoder for this estimate. With this in-painting pipeline, we can generate combos with multiple exposures, but there's a still problem caused by this stochastic diffusion model. As you can see in the results, the different random initial noise make different results like this. And some of them cannot be used to make environment map. To reduce this randomness of diffusion model, we propose a new method called iterative in-painting algorithm. This is a simple algorithm that they just iterate this in-painting algorithm like this. The difference is that they start with pure noise in the first iteration, but in second iteration, they get an averaging goal using pixel-wise median like this, and they add noise to this median ball. This noise is a noise of time step 0.8t, where the t is the max time step. So they add quite heavy noise to this median ball, and they iteratively do the same process. As you can see here by this iterative in-painting, although the first iteration, they make really diverse combos, but they became more consistent combos in the second iteration like this. In this paper, author said that they use 2 iterations and generate 30 combos for each iteration. So now we have to do is make HDR combo. And the process of making HDR combo is simple and is really similar to the conventional HDRI merging. They use this iterative in-painting for make combos of different exposure values. We use just HDR merging to make this HDR combo. The merging process is really similar to the existing method. And now we can delve into the experiments. First, they use train set from this module called text-to-light. This is a model that can make HDR panorama images using text condition like this. They use these panorama images and aforementioned training dataset synthesis protocol to make training datasets. Maybe they can use some existing HDRI image datasets, but they use this synthetic dataset from this model. And I think that the authors trying to show their generation performance using this synthetic data set. And there's some special evaluation protocol for evaluating this environment map. They first predict the environment map from image, and they render these three balls like this, which is called evaluation over three spheres. Using this GT environment map for render these ground truth balls and the predicted these foam balls, they measure the error between them. This error is measured by pixel-wise manner. And second evaluation method is called evaluation on array of spheres. In the same way, they predict the environment map and render this array of spheres like this. And they measure the error between ground truth and the predicted environment map rendering results.
That's it, the previous slide here. What are the three spheres representing? I think the first one, the leftmost one is the HDRI ball, but the rightmost one is not the HDRI ball, right?
You're right. The difference is the materials. The first one is kind of durable, and second one is matte steelable, as I heard. And the last one is diffusible. So the difference is in the material that reflecting the light.
As far as I understood, the DiffusionLight model can only generate single crumple, isn't it?
You're right. So they use this combo to generate this environment map and render these balls using this predicted environment map. Okay. Thank you for the question. And when we see the quantitative results on indoor and outdoor dataset, please note that this prior method is trained in supervised manner, but DiffusionLight is trained on zero-sum manner. Even though it trained in zero-sum manner, it outperforms in these two metrics like this. And these metrics are to predict the pixel-wise error between GT and predictive RGB. And the common things of these three metrics are they are all scale invariant. The reason why they use this scale invariant metric is that each data set have specific scale reason and the stochastic and statistic of that data set. But this model cannot be trained on is not be trained on the data set, so they use this scale invariant method. Also, this result is using the series peer evaluation protocol. The next one is results on the array of peers evaluation protocol. As you can see here, prior works also trained in supervised manner. This work is trained on zero-sum manner. Although it trained on zero-sum manner, it can achieve comparable results, except this. That's it.
Question about the angular error, because it seems like computing just the angle between two like prediction and the ground truth, but the X and X had these RGB images. How do they compute the angles between those RGB images using that kind of like formula?
And they used three-dimensional vector. RGB. They think RGB is a three-dimensional vector. When we think about RGB values, we can think our field being like this and a vector. And
they compute the pixel-wise angular error of RGB vectors.
Yeah. So they also shows the result only in the wild scenes. As you can see here, the method trained in supervised manner is failed to generate the environment map from this in the wild scenes. However, DiffusionLight shows good generation performance in this in the wild scenes. And this is the most advantage of this method using latent diffusion model prior. There are also limitations. And they use this method in extreme cases like this. And it comes to bird eye view or overhead view or micro and close-up images in animation styles. And images like this, they fail to generate plausible crumbles. And also, they should do iterative painting process, which spend too much time for generation of crumble from single image. So as conclusion, we propose a novel approach to predict HDR environment from a single image. And they creatively use latent diffusion model for achieve generation performance. And they propose three novel methods to get HDR environment back. I think this paper is really the written paper that make a really creative idea to apply the latent diffusion model in other domains. So, this is the end of my presentation. If you have any question, please ask me.
Do you think there's any reason that the authors put their crumbles and their mask in the center of the image?
Well,
In the same way, I think when you put the mask and both like corner of the image, it would work, I think. But do you think that there's any reason?
I think if this latent diffusion model saw images about crumbles, it would be an image that the crumble placed in center of the image. And I think they're trying to use that prior for this model. And as you can see here, just basic stereo diffusion model can generate crumble like this using their own prior. I'm not sure what's going to be happening when we place this component corner, but train normal image.
Oh,
I mean, the inference time. I am not remember right now. Uh, but we should do 2 iterations and make 30 crumbles in each iteration, so it would be really long time to make one crumble in single image.
So please, can you go to the page related to LoRa fine-tuning?
Here.
So here they condition the model on an interpolation of the original one and the dark one, right?
Yeah, right. Using this.
So yeah, I just wonder how they got the black one.
one, you mean this waste one?
Yeah.
They just make a pair of this prompt by adding this black dark prompt in this input. And they make a pair with this embedding with this more darkness one.
Those white images are generated by the text to light model using the
So the text-to-light model only generate this HDR environment map. And they render, like, they first crop the image of this panorama image like this. And they render these crumbles in different exposure values and put it on the image, center of the image.
the dark crumble is like pre-processed from the generated environment.
Oh, yeah, right. Just render with different exposure values.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. The input is HDR environment map. And you can make multiple area combos using this map. So, rendering program. Okay.
I have a quick question. So, in the exposure value result, have have, have they experimented any reasoning about this embedding interpolation of with the EV? Could you, yeah, this page, not this page, not this one, the interpolate, yeah. So I wonder whether they interpolate the embedding as an input and then they generate the multiple exposure. But I'm not sure whether this input linearity will be consistent with the output domain. So I wonder whether they experimented the linearity of the output domain.
I don't think there is experiments about it. But I have to check the appendix of paper, but as I remember, there is no experiments about that linearity.
No,
context.
no, no. So you say
Yeah.
no?
Yeah, right.
Okay. Because it is hard to assume the linear interpolation in the input side will be preserved in the output side. So there must be some nonlinearity. So, and when you compose the HDL, then you may need to consider the linearity assumption, whether it does hold the consistency and the linearity. But anyway, okay, let's check.
I'm gonna check the appendix of paper.
Thank you for the presentation. I really appreciate it. And I have questions about this page. You know why they give perfect prompt, perfect word prompt, word perfect in prompt? What happens if I give the prompt naive or not perfect?
I haven't think about it. I guess just they use interesting manner to choose these prompts. I'm not sure. Perfect would be help to get more fine environment, but I guess.
Experiment without using estimate.
I Actually, I also wondering about it, but they don't give any evaluations to give a estimate.
I'm just curious about, is there any experiment varying the size of the sample?
There wasn't.
I think if they generate the crumble and they like unwrap it into the environment map, like in the HDRI rectangular map, then I think the input image itself, the RGB image itself, and some part of the HDRI environment map should like correspond to each other.
Oh, yeah, right. I observed that situation like this.
But I think they didn't like impose those kind of like consistency losses or others, like those kind of signals in their training setup. So do you think such kind of consistent losses could improve the result or fidelity of the generation?
I mean, a loss for matching this output and the input image.
Yeah, the output environment map and the input image. I think there should be the corresponding part, maybe under some kind of transformation.
I guess it could be possible, but I mean, don't have any opinion about it in paper, so
Maybe you could try that.
So, do you think about, when I see the results in TFL, that is not my conductor image?
Oh, I mean, this one, or
Yes. I'm curious about how it works. Vision fire. And it is environment.
I mean, why they generate this inconsistent result even though they use diffusion model? Well, I'm not sure, but you have to know that this environment map is, when we see this combo and this environment map, it's divided in half in here, and they stitch in here by reflecting them to, like, these blocks first placed in here. So this environment not too consistent in this reason, I guess. Let me just stitch this environment map like this, moving this part in here, and it will be looks like more consistent. There is
So did you finish the answer to the question?
yeah, right, and there is a comment online. To answer about it.
Yeah, I mean the Jian question, right?
Yeah, I finished.
Yeah, okay. So I have another comment on that synthetic data generation part. Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one. So when they generate the data, they crop it from equirectangular coordinate directly, right? So the
Reflecting.
environment may, yeah, equirectangular coordinate the environment map is currently onto the equirectangular coordinate, but that coordinate is the coordinate contain the distortion, the spatial distortion. So if you just crop the image directly from that coordinate, then maybe the cropped image have a different distortion against the common images.
That's
So
right.
yeah, you may need to calibrate to and rectify this distortion so that the cropped image looks like real captured image, like ordinary camera. So they didn't consider the locking relationship between the environment map coordinate and the real image coordinate.
I'm not sure about it because I don't remember the details of this process, so they would write in paper. So I have to check the code for that process, I think. Yeah, I'm not sure right now. They would consider about it.
Yeah, okay. But in this illustration, they directly code it, right? With the that rectangle shape, the red rectangle. Yeah.
Actually, this figure is not from paper.
Oh, okay, okay. I see. You may need to check because each coordinate they curve it. That's important because that introduces a domain gap.
Sorry for confusing this. Okay.
In chat.
Okay.
We're using.
For the link. You mean the question is if this crumble is closest to camera, it would not reflect the background of this crumble. And that makes sense, but I'm not sure how the diffusion power affect these results.
Sorry, excuse me. What was the question?
It is on the comments in chatting. But if this crumble is in front of camera, it would not reflect the background image behind this crumble.
Oh, right, the backside, right? The backside of the crumble. We couldn't
right.
see it. We couldn't see it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. This crumble doesn't have to reflect the background image. Yes. But in training process, they put the image and under the environment like this. So this process, I think, this crumble reflect the excite of this crumble. So it would be help the model to reflect the excite of image in inference stage. Okay.
So in their pipeline, they just iteratively inpaint and take the median value, right?
Yeah.
But I think it is quite naive approach to handle the inconsistent generation of size and location, etc. So I wonder how do you think? Do you think that it is sufficient enough to handle the stochastic property of diffusion model?
I'm not sure about it, but it's to get pixelwise median is kind of convention, as I know. Is used in variable, as I remember. So I think they just choose conventional method to deal with this stochasticity of diffusion model. I'm not sure about the other method to deal with this stochasticity. Yeah.
Thank you.
Saying using noise is conditioned on the input data. Think about it.
Kind of outpainting or this noise on this input image and make actually the prior works to the same test by outpainting this image to make more bigger input and more bigger panorama from this image. And in this work, we choose this method to use the latent diffusion model priors as shown in here. As you can see here, the basic diffusion model has also prior about the crumble. So yeah, I think they just try to use this prior.
Method can give more hard concentrate on the generate output number.
That may not large constraint.
So like the diffusion applied, but if they use the impinging method, then it can be generate more constant results.
I mean, this result is also output of inpainting.
So I think the question was like, how about generating the crumble like from the full noisy image? I mean, not like an inpainting method. So they apply the mask to the depth map and they just generate from the inpainting. They just generate the crumble with the inpainting method. But I think her question was to like generate the crumble itself from the noise image, conditioned on the input image or other kind of conditions.
If we do not give this condition and just give noise in the whole image and generate crumble from this noise image.
그 질문할 때 저 유학생 목소리는 잘 들렸는데 전에 질문한 사람 목소리 그래서 안 들리거든요. 좀 명확하게 해주면 좋겠어요.
제 질문은 인페인티드 마스크 안에 저 하얀 부분에만 인풋 노이즈를 채우고 뭔가 컨디션으로 인풋 이미지를 써서 저 노이즈 있는 마스크 부분만 디노이즈 시키는 방법은 안 되는 건가? 저는 그 방법보다 이 논문에서 제안한 방법처럼 인페인팅을 하는 방법이 더 좋은 이유가 뭘까에 대한 생각을 듣고 싶었습니다.
이제 이 안에만 주는 방식.
안 되는 파이프라인일 수도 있고 제가 잘못 생각한 걸 수도 있긴 한데.
So the question is, what if we just input noise in this mask region of crumble? I think I'm not sure about it, but they just follow this inventing process is from the prior works called SD-edit, which is a method for diffusion in painting. So I think we should read that prior paper to get the answer about it.
So we are not sure if we don't try it. Right?
Okay, thank you.
I have a question on this page as well. So here you have the intent mask and you have depth map and the white circle. But controller get this depth map with the mask together as a single image, right? Then maybe the mask, the white circle can be considered as the interpreted as a depth map, the part of the depth map, right?
Can you repeat the last sentence?
I mean, here, yeah. So the mask and the depth map are combined. See?
Yeah, right.
And then that single image, the condition image, will be fed to the controller. Then depth map will interpret this input image as a depth map. What does it mean is the white circle is interpreted as a depth, right?
Yeah, right. The authors intended that to put the white circle on the depth map and make the model to consider this region to be an object that being closest to camera.
Haven't they tried any kind of depths? Maybe they can use the sphere depths, right? Maybe instead of the mask.
Yeah, it could be possible, but they didn't try it.
So I'm just wondered whether this just flat up depth map of the crumble. So since basically they use the flat structure of the crumble, right?
Yeah,
The
right.
crumble in reality it should be spear shape, but what they use is the flat depth map, which means the structure is flat. And if controllers somehow understand the physical meaning, then the controller may feel like it's weird.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, so there must be some inconsistency what they have to generate by considering the underlying geometry. That the underlying geometry should follow some kind of spear depth, but what we gave was just a flat one. So there must be some inconsistency. I'm not sure though whether how much this affect to the result, but anyway, I just wonder why they design with a white mask rather than their spear depths.
Yeah, I'm not sure they had tried it in their experiments, but it was not written in paper about this theoretical depth for.
Yeah, also it is interesting, the control LED, even though the depth map is not accurate enough, but the control LED works successfully. And it somehow learned the relationship between the data and the input and the data, input and output. Because that's not actually depth map or any accurate condition, but yeah, controller somehow understand whether that weirdly designed condition. Interesting.
That's right. And I guess that to generate this combo, I think they don't need a accurate depth map or generate just this reason, different from other tasks using depths. So I guess that's the reason why this works well using this coarse depth map, I think.
Got it. Yeah, interesting. And I have another comment. Could you go to the early page that reads the challenges of the crumble generation? It does not follow the condition well. Should go back to the early page.
My laptop is on right now. Quite so.
그 앞쪽에 저기 그 슬라이드 한번 가볼래요? 거기 뭐였더라? 크럼볼을 생성하면은 컨디션 주가 잘 안 따라가고 막 약간 이런 얼리 페어 케이스도 보여준 거 있었잖아요. 앞쪽에 모티베이션.
고등학생 배터리 지금 배터리가 다 돼가지고 슬라이드를 그냥 펼 수가 없는 것 같습니다.
배터리가 없구나. 오케이. So what I want to tell was so the in the presentation the GeonU they introduced this work that he first introduced a naive baseline. I think that he followed the story structure of the paper, and that story structure of the paper is very good because so would like to I would like to for all the students to be encouraged to use this kind of structure. So what they did is what they gonna also presented it was he first presents naive baseline, and if we just use the data and the naive baseline, it contained undesirable artifact or it's not easy problem. So so basically the authors clarify what is the challenges of this approach. So basically the idea is good, but still implementing that idea is not that simple. There is some detail. And then they propose their own method. So this is the storyline of the development of the idea. So so rather than directly introducing their final model, they first fully discuss about what's the non-trivialness of the approach. So this is a good storyline to be used in your paper as well. So yeah, please keep in mind and please follow this kind of structure whenever you can apply.
Thank you for your good advice.
그래서 지금 그 앞쪽에 그 서클 쉐입에 따라서 제너레이션 해라라고 했는데 그 서클 쉐입 안 따라간 컴볼들이 막 나오는 거 보여줬잖아요. 그렇게 나이브한 방법 저는 그럴듯한 방법을 제시를 처음에 이렇게 할 수 있는데 그게 정확하게 우리가 원하는 디자이너블한 그런 게 안 되고 그게 생각보다 챌린지하다라는 거를 공감대를 형성하고 그 다음에 우리 방법을 디벨롭을 하는 스토리라인이 항상 좀 좋은 방인 것 같아요. 그래서 지금 앞에 그 베이스라인 제시한 것조차도 얘네 아이디어고 컨tribution 맞는데 그것만으로는 부족하다. 그걸 더 이제 보완한다. 이렇게 투 스텝으로 디벨롭을 하는 거 되게 좋은 스토리라인입니다. 일반적인 논문들에서. 뭐 네 페이지면은 그냥 바로 우리 방법 이렇게 써서 하면 좋아졌어요. 이렇게 하면 되는데 8페이지 넘어가고 막 이러면은 이렇게 디벨롭 하는 게 되게 좋아요.
감사합니다.
Yeah, please move on. Yeah, please proceed whether there are any other question or
If there are any other question, then finish it.
Yeah.
yes, good job. Thank you. Bye.